Champion of the Strong Woman competition, Strong Woman. Miss Woman, do you feel ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready, David. There are just so many amazing women athletes out here today. It makes me so proud.
Now, this is the first year that a trans woman is in the competition. How do you feel about that?
Amazing. I feel honored to be a part of history. I have a lot of incredible trans friends who are athletes, and so we're all inspired this woman's competing.
And have you actually ever met Heather Swanson?
No, I've never competed against her before, no.
She's not exactly your average trans athlete.
Well, what is an average trans athlete? Honestly, I find that kind of bigoted, David.
Okay. Heather Swanson is actually joining us now. Miss Swanson, how does it feel to be competing today?
I can't tell you how free I feel now that I've started identifying as a woman. Now that I can compete as female, I'm ready to smash the other girls.
And is it correct you just started identifying as female 2 weeks ago?
I'm not here to talk about my transition. I'm here to kick some f***ing ass. Let me tell you something, Dingleberry.
David Perry.
I'm gonna roll up the other women here, and I'm gonna smoke them. I am the strongest woman this state has ever seen.
Any words for the challenger, Miss Woman?
Good luck, Heather.
Luck is for dudes.
Well, with that, let's get right to the action.
Now, this show, South Park, I remember when it came out. It was, I think I was in the 4th grade, I believe. And it was known heavily for its sarcasm and satire. And that's what they're using in this sketch, which actually, to be honest, this ain't even a reach no more. We're really literally living in South Park. This world is becoming. You know, you have the scriptures in Jeremiah 31 and verse 22, and I'll get that right now actually, because there's a lot of history about this women's rights movement, women's liberation movement, and stuff like that. Around the 60s, or I believe maybe the 70s, but I want to say it started in the mid 60s. This feminism movement, which was designed strategically and wickedly to offset the civil rights movement that Jake was going through, which was that old lion being roused back up. You know, we started standing up against the oppressor, understood who he was and was demanding, to be treated, with respect, dignity, and everything. And then they came over, and what happened was a lot of black women felt conflicted and decided to join their movement instead. And to this day, the women's movement still persists and goes on. And guess what? The civil rights movement is dead by COINTELPRO. Took down the Black Panthers. I forgot what movie that was that depicted that. Like something like Judas or something. So there was no counterintelligence program designed to infiltrate the women's rights movement and to take it down. But anyway, this is Jeremiah 31, verse 22. It says, "How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." So it says, a woman shall compass a man. And a lot of women have compassed men as far as economically. And I want to say certain classes, though. Certain classes. Definitely like the rich 1%. They're still men. So women haven't compassed them. Like Esau knows, like, they're the elite over there are still men. But a lot of women have compassed men in the uh, white collar world, corporate world, and stuff like that. They've been given a lot of positions, you know, uh, what they call affirmative action, which allows for women to be considered a minority, and especially black women, double minority because they're black, so they're a minority and a woman minority. And companies have to like meet certain quotas by hiring, a certain number of fulfill that quota of minorities. And I'm not sure in Michigan, the state of Michigan, that's not necessary anymore. Um, but or a law anymore. But I think in some other states that might still be a law. But that helped with the women's liberation movement. And also, when you look at the women's liberation movement, is basically what's turned out to be is turned out to be uh here it is. The woman at was women now have to work. What I want to say, they have to work. It was first they fought for the rights to be able to work, go in these workplaces and infiltrate all these job areas, and it's women's rights. We can work, woo, and now your ass gotta work. Not only do you gotta work, but we're in a point now where you have to work. It used to be you have to work 40 hours. You could take care of your family, wife, and kids, on a high school diploma job, you know, with a job with a high school diploma and maybe work for the big three or some other place and, just work there. And you could take care of your family working 40 hours. You can't do that. You got to work upwards of the 50s. And depending on how much you make, even more than that, your 60s, maybe even 70s, 80s, sometimes people work just to make ends meet. And a lot of women are dreading that. One of the most depressing job occupations out there is nursing. And a lot of women dominate that field, which used to be dominated by men, by the way. And a lot of women are dominating that field. And that is a very stressful and very demanding job, along as I believe pharmacy technician, very stressful job. You got women cops, you know, women they have to work now. They have to. So this is not a situation where it's like we want to work. You now they got to. You guess what? If you pregnant, your ass get. I think. I don't know what maternity leave laws is, but once you have that baby, your ass is right back to work. And ain't one a woman supposed to be at home taking care of the children once she has the baby. Now, this is First Peter chapter 3 and verse 7, and it reads, "Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel." So the woman is the weaker vessel, physically, mentally. A woman's not equipped to handle this. I know women who's complained about having hernias from working so much and stress from their jobs. They went to school, they are RN, but they stressed the hell out. And they can't work all the hours, even though they have the ambition and the drive. They're physically getting sick from working there all these hours. All this, want to be independent. This boss bitch, they done sold Jake woman a lie. And now I was reading an article too. It said like 80% of breadwinners in black households are women. Been completely duped. So now women are working so hard and now, are becoming a breadwinner and all of this when you could be at home and not engaged in that civil rights movement. And also not civil rights movement, but a women's rights movement. But the this women's rights movement has paved way for this transgender movement. I don't know if people understand it because women always ran on the equal rights, equal rights, equal rights. We want equality. That was always the motto. Okay, you want equality, huh? There's a saying. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. So they wanted equality. Guess what? It was not equal for transgender men to not compete in women's sports. That they got the same argument that women had in the '60s. We want those rights. Women didn't want to wear dresses anymore. They wanted to wear pants. And they launched a large campaign. They also with smoking too. They launched a campaign where it was seen as masculine to smoke, and basically they made it to where okay, it's socially acceptable to women to smoke, to the point where now you go on your Instagrams, your IGs, your social medias, and it'll be a woman, so called uh pretty, bad IG girl. She just starts smoking a Black and Mild, call them Woods, and she just blowing smoke in the camera and just staring at the camera. That shit is masculine as hell. And guess what now? You all this equality that women have fought for, and guess what? Now they're getting equality. You got actual real biological men basically saying, you know what? I want equality too. Now they dressing up. Now you got homosexuals, and that's another thing too. That women's rights movement is linked in with homosexuality, because homosexuals, they want equality too. Because there used to be a time where there was a debate on could gay people enter bathrooms, because they figured they was basically saying that, oh well, a gay person could be looking under stall peeping at us, or trying to rape us. And that was one of the arguments. And the counter argument was, well, how do you can't tell somebody looking at that they're gay by looking at them. And so now nobody makes a fuss. And the same thing with transgender. They're saying, first of all, how do you know I'm transgender? You can't tell who's transgender just by looking at them. And then they make a point. How do you confirm a person's gender before they enter to a bathroom? Because there's some transgender that actually look like women, and there's some transgender that actually look like men. Look like you can tell it's a man. And there's some transgenders, I guess, that got they private parts snipped, tucked, and folded or whatever, and transformed, and somehow who haven't. So entering the bathroom, how can you tell who's transgender or not? Want to play this clip right here. This is how stupid and ridiculous it's gotten.
I'm not. How can you tell me I'm not a transgender?
No, you're not.
What? Tell me I'm not a transgender, because I am a transgender.
And that's the state that we're in right now. That's sad. This is the state that we're in right now. Equality. Now I put up on the screen, you got Tyson Fury, and I think her name is Katie Taylor. And 91 overall, both equal. Let's get it on. It's ridiculous. Women are the weaker vessel. They are not equal to men. Not at all. There's also another thing too I want to state is that with this whole gender bender, um you you know identify as this, identify as that. There's also you know uh I think it was called feminized surgery, because there's the I think it's like facial feminization surgeries, if I think that's what it's called, where they actually can fix their facial features that even make them appear that look like a woman. And now you also have with this whole homosexual thing, or uh, Mo thing, shall I say? There's Their argument is that they're born that way. I'm born this way. And so with that, of course, if you're born that way, then that means kids should be able to embrace how they naturally are born. So, there's little kids that, yeah, yeah, I'm born. So allow kids to, pick their sexuality, which is stupid. And also with that, gives birth to, hey, well, if you're born that way, allow kids to pick their gender identity. If they want to identify as male, if they want to identify as female, why are we forcing children, little boys, to be masculine? Why are we forcing little girls to be feminine? These are gender constructs, social constructs of the patriarchy. And now, guess what? You got, I think, Zaya Wade, Dwayne Wade's son, that wants to be convert and be a transformer. It's shit is just confusing. And on that note, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Akakwadash. Double honors to Elders G and Master Ruel. Peace and salutations and shalom.